What is up, guys and gals? Mr. Tyler Austin, he's on here early. What's up, dude? Had a chance to hang out with him in Florida, stayed at his house overnight, which is awesome. Guys, we got an amazing episode of Behind the Deal coming at you guys. So right now, what I'd love for you guys to do is if you're on Facebook, hit the share button or tag in 3 friends, tag in 3 investors, or if you're in a group, if you're in a Facebook group for investors or agents, share this puppy over there, guys. Let's get as many people in here as we can to talk about this deal. And I've got a returner with me today. I'll reintroduce you guys to Anthony Beckham. Anthony is an agent first and then an investor as well. So he's a hybrid. And one thing that we were talking about before we popped on, I want to learn more about this, dude. So you just bought a 60-acre ranch here in Roseburg. Let's talk about that a bit while people are piling in. Then we'll talk about the burning money deal. We're going to break down where this deal came from, the ad, how it all happened, the numbers, the whole thing, guys. So tag people in. But, dude, Anthony, welcome back on, man. Let's talk about the 60 acres spot.
Yeah, that was a little bit of out of left field. Wasn't really expected, but yeah, we're doing it. There's some timber out there. I mean, 50 plus acres of it's timber, and I'll get to learn a whole nother realm of investing. So
yeah, that'll be a fun one to track, dude. So yeah, one of these days, let's go check it out. I'd love to go out there and check out the property.
Oh yeah.
My son Colton, he's 9 and he joined 4-H this year, and so he's showing 2 lambs. Our first lamb show is Saturday this week, and I found him a couple of weeks ago on my phone. What are you doing, Colton? He's looking for farmland because he's like, we don't have enough property at our house, and he wants to have like a herd of lambs. So
you have the sheep just running around at your house now?
Yeah, we've got two lambs, and they're kind of cordoned off in this little section that's probably a little bit less than a quarter acre.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got a couple lambs now.
Right on.
Yeah. Cool.
Farmer Trevor.
That's right. Well, guys, we're going to dive into Behind the Deal. I've got Mr. Brady Winder, co-host of Behind the Deal. We've got Anthony Beckham, who is a longtime Carrot client, Carrot camper, and local investor agent here in Roseburg. Anthony, why don't you give a quick intro, man? Then we're going to dive into the burning money deal here in a second. But quick intro. Who the heck are you, man?
Anthony Beckham here in Roseburg, Oregon, real estate broker. Have a small team. We now own the brokerage as well. Did 125 transactions last year, and we're just keeping that growing, man.
I love it. And so, guys, I want to make sure you guys all realize this. So if you're an agent, this is something we've been driving for several years now, is the hybrid model. And when we first met Anthony, he was pure agent. He's still one of the top agents in the entire region. And he's added that mix to his portfolio of also being an investor. And so taking the active income from the agent side of things, built the brokerage, and now taking some of that and putting it into real estate, but also finding some of those opportunities of the seller leads that come in to buy the properties. And then the ones that want retail, he lists them. That's just an amazing model. So Brady, before we dive into burning the burning money deal, man, anything to toss out there? What the heck is up for you this week, man?
Nothing much, man. Just building a house right now. Nothing much. Just building a house, grinding away, and that's about it, man. I don't know what normal life is anymore.
And guys, for context for this, Brady, you guys should go follow him on Facebook or Instagram. But he's building his own house, like he said, and it's a what would you call it? It's a metal.
Yeah. Building. The term, as much as I hate the term, it's a barn dominium. It's very much taken off in the Midwest and Texas. It's pretty common, but mine was one of the first out here. But decided to be the GC and build it ourselves, my wife and I. It's been a learning experience, a lot of fun.
It's looking good.
I was telling Brady. Timing, with how crazy the housing market is. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's funny. I was telling Brady I could see it from like miles away up on the hill. I ended up driving up there last week as I was driving by. Looks really good.
You can see it from I-5 when I hadn't been there yet, and I saw the picture of it that Brady shot, and I knew it was up on a hill somewhere in Winston. And I drove by one day. I'm like, that's got to be it up there, when it was still the white. It was like white around the outside, and it was.
Funny.
That's
guys. As you guys are coming in, pop in the comments box wherever you're watching this. If you're watching on Facebook, tag in 2 friends. If you're watching this on YouTube, share that link up on Instagram or Facebook. And pop in the comments box, guys. Where are you calling in from? You guys calling in from, Oregon and Washington, wherever it is. Are you an investor or are you an agent? And then we're gonna dive into this deal. So, Brady, Anthony, let's dive into the burning money deal. Toss it over to you, Brady.
Yeah, so we haven't done this in a couple episodes behind the deal. If you're listening to the podcast version, make sure to go to our YouTube channel, go to YouTube, type in Carrot Real Estate, and you'll find us, or go to carrot.com/deal. You can get all the past episodes, but we're going to play a quick 45-second ad here. Anthony, he might not say this himself. He's too humble. He's a creative genius. He's got some good creative genes, and we've got a really funny video, really funny ad. And that's what kind of this episode is about, is the creative process behind this ad, where the lead came from, and then we're going to break down the negotiation, everything like Trevor said. But let's Braden, let's roll this ad real quick, and then we'll come back and break it all down.
Paying too much for rent? The first of the month comes around and you feel like you're just burning through your paycheck, flushing it down the drain, crumpling it up and throwing it away, giving it to your landlord. Well, what if I told you that you could actually buy a house here in Roseburg, Douglas County area, for just as much or less than what you're currently paying for in rent? Go ahead and put your information down below, and we're happy to send you a list of homes that you could actually buy for less than what you're paying in rent. Are you spending too much on rent?
Dude, I hadn't seen that ad yet, man. I love it. That is good. So let me ask you a question before we break down this deal. For agents or investors who see a video like this, which is really, really well done, and they go, man, I can't do video as good as Anthony. I'm not a good actor. You know, I don't have this full-time videographer. What would you say for a person like that to get started, to get something going out there on video? Then we'll break down the deal.
Well, I started with the GoPro, and then from there went to, an independent contractor that, as long as you had a couple $100 set aside, you could get something set up like that with a local videographer. I'm sure, before, we decided we were going to go all in and actually found someone that, was going to be part of the team.
Cool. And dude, let's kind of talk dollars and cents now, as we lead into this video. So, or as we lead into this deal. So a lot of people might be going, well, shoot, yeah, we can put out videos, but are we actually making money doing that? Is that just wasting time? And why don't you kind of break down, Anthony, your journey at a high level? Kenneth Holmes, what's up, dude? Let's break down at a high level what your journey has been like, because you're one of the top agents in the entire region. So you're not just like a dude over here that's been doing a couple things. Let's say a couple of years ago, where did your leads come from? How has that transitioned, and how big of a role is video now playing in it?
Yeah. So at one point in time, almost half of my business, somewhere between when I was doing like 56 deals my second year and my third year when I did 81, somewhere in there, about half of my business was Zillow leads. Mm-hmm. And so, I started saying, oh gosh, that's kind of, that's a dependency, is the way I was looking at it. If Zillow changed their whole formatting, which they have done in several other places across the United States, then it could mess up my whole business, or at least half of it. Yep. So we wanted to get rid of that dependency by kind of being our own Zillow. And you were talking plenty about that. And that's kind of what turned me on to you guys and Carrot itself, and doing all this content, because it all plays off each other.
Dude, so what's happened since then? So you've been doing a bunch of video on Facebook, YouTube, and some of that's going over to the Carrot site now too. Kind of, have you been able to replace some of Zillow? Kind of what's happening right now with that? Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's gone down to a third of our business. Cool. So, I mean, it's decreased by 20%, or everything else is increased, I should say, so much that it's made it to where it's less of a dependency. Yeah, we format everything for YouTube, and that long form content goes on the blog, on our Carrot site, goes on Facebook, goes on LinkedIn, goes on Instagram. It goes everywhere that it can. Yep. And then Alec takes that and turns it into like short form content. So we have like 1 minuters, and, take screenshots for Instagram posts and that sort of thing.
I love it. Well, dude, let's break down the deal, man. The burning money deal. Toss over to you and Brady, and you guys can dive into this deal in detail.
Yeah. Where'd the lead come from on this one, Anthony?
So the lead came from that ad, the rent ad that we have going, and it was a Facebook. I had it going as a Facebook ad, and so the lead came through our Carrot site from the Facebook ad.
Mm-hmm. Saw the Facebook ad, called you, and they were they mentioned the ad. I mean, you would think.
Well, this was quite some time ago. My ISA handled the first 3 months of cultivating the lead, because usually, especially on a Facebook lead, you have a 3 to 6 month lag time before they're even ready. You're catching them pretty early in the process.
Okay. So one of the things we were talking about before we hopped on here was this one was a double closing. So the irony of it was that you're burning money on on multiple fronts. So talk about that a little bit. Like why take this on, the motivation to help this person out?
Well, that's what we do, man. She ended up getting pre-approved USDA for 285,000, which is pretty tough right now and has been tough for a few years now. So we had wrote some offers. She was working with my buyer's agent, Jordan. They were looking at all these places and just not having any luck. It's not uncommon at that time to have 10 plus offers on these homes that could qualify USDA. Well, I had a listing that I had just listed with a past client, and it was listed for 300,000, which was probably $25,000 at least over priced. And I said, all right, man, we'll do it. But it was kind of tough from the beginning, to be honest. So anyway, she ended up writing an offer on that. Jordan's like, hey, she's only pre-approved at 285. And I'm like, well, the best we can do is put it in front of the seller, see what he wants to do with it. And, we ended up getting the accepted offer. So we represented both the buyer and the seller.
Yep.
What did you do? Did you do anything special to kind of frame that, to kind of give it your best chance of getting that offer accepted?
Well, I definitely told him he was lucky to have an offer for 285 whenever my highest comps were showing 275. And there was still a lot of cleanup that was needing done over there. A lot of not only cleanup just for presentation, but a lot of repairs that were needed and whatnot. I had sold him the property 2 years earlier as a fixer upper for 150,000. So I mean, to not do anything to it and list it for 300,000 2 years later was a bit of a stretch. But
holy cow.
Dude, so in circumstances like that there, so we're talking to the retail agents on this one right here. In circumstances like that, you mentioned the buyer came from the ad. You had the listing come from a past client.
Yep.
In this market that's really, really difficult, are you finding the majority of your Facebook ads are working for buyers, or have you found anything working for sellers for the retail side right now?
I have the buyer business figured out to a T. I mean, it's basically like a dial. I just turn up the dial, we get more leads. It's just a matter of how many can we handle. Sellers are a little bit different, but I've noticed that with the content and the credibility, more building out just our Carrot site and getting high ranking blogs, Google reviews. Those are the things that have been generating inbound seller calls.
Yep. And guys, that's the key here, y'all. And I'm going to show some things here on the screen in a little bit, but that's the key, guys, is for retail buyers, right? That they're a dime a dozen. You can get them great. And like Anthony said, especially on Facebook, and this works for sellers too, but especially on Facebook, there is that lag time. And so when we look at sellers in general, it usually takes between 40 and 60 seller leads to turn into a deal on direct mail and cold calling. Okay. Because you're casting the net wider, and it's going to take more activity. You're kind of tapping the person on the shoulders when they may or may not actually be seeking out a solution to their problem. So it requires you to have a bigger team and or spend more time you doing it and put them into follow-up sequences. And then when you go down to, let's say, Facebook ads for sellers, it's around that 1 in 20 to 1 in 30 leads turns into a deal. And then when you go over to Google ads for sellers done correctly, it's between 1 in 10 to 1 in 20 leads turns into a deal on average, when you spread it out. And then with SEO, it's about 1 in 5 to 1 in 15 leads turns into a deal. And as you go from the direct mail cold calling all the way down to SEO, it tends to the conversion rate increases, i.e., the leads that you get turn into a deal at a faster pace. The profit margin tends to increase because they're more motivated as well. And the time to deal tends to decrease, or it gets faster. And so that's why we always want to look at our marketing mix and ask, how are we getting the overall leads that were coming in, balancing really good high quality inbound leads through Carrot with the volume leads from direct mail cold calling or buying on Zillow. Both are necessary. I just don't do one without the other, which is cool. So Anthony, for the Carrot and Google side of things with your videos on the sellers, is there any particular type of content or particular pages that you found are bringing the sellers in for you right now?
It's the investor site. I mean, really,
Yep.
I mean, even whenever we're doing our cold calls and stuff, we come at it first as an investor. Usually,
Mhm.
have you thought, or would you consider selling your home? Because those that's the only way I've come up with that you're actually going to get a seller that's like, yeah, I would, or sellers actually reaching directly out to you, except for, of course, like the credibility, like I had mentioned.
Yep.
But no, it's our investor site that we have people actually clicking on. If you're talking about giving someone an offer, that's where you're going to get the inbound sellers.
Guys, I was on a call yesterday with an amazing agent, one of the top EXP agents in the country, and they're considering moving to Carrot. But on the agent side of things, most agents want insanely pretty, like this really award-winning dialed-in design, and I get it because the retail side is very aesthetic driven. It's very personality driven, right? The investor side is very outcome driven and trust driven. Agents, the agent side is trust driven as well, but it's a lot less personality driven. It's, can I get the outcome I want, and is there trust to get that solved? And the more that I dive in with agents who are not yet open to the hybrid model, the more that they always want to go back to, well, but yeah, how can I get like a lot of sellers through my agent site? I'm like, well, you can, but the best way to do it is like this way, which is getting the motivated sellers with high intent going after phrases like sell my house fast Roseburg, or sell my house Roseburg, or cash home buyers Roseburg, or whatever. The agent side, you can go after phrases like a best real estate agents in, or listing agents in, and people do search that, but the intent isn't quite as motivated as a sell my house or sell my house fast in, or whatever. And so the mix on both guys is critical for sure.
And 100% of those, I'm having the conversation that, hey, just being honest with you, you are going to make more money putting this on the market than I could probably offer you today.
Yep.
But if you're looking for convenience and don't want to do any repairs, don't want to have to deal with making your bed in the morning, all that, I completely understand that. And I can write you an offer right now.
Yep.
And we did buy 3 properties just last year. Usually we would do, 3 to 5 wholesale deals or whatever a year. Last year, I actually kept all 3 of the, good ones that came through,
dude,
and the rest of them listed.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So a couple more questions on the seller side, and then we'll open up for guys. If you have any questions for Anthony, pop them through. Any questions for me, I'll do a screen share to show some cool data here in a sec. If you're an agent or an investor looking for seller or buyer leads, and we'll kind of walk through too on this particular deal. After they click the ad, where did they go? Did they go to a landing page? What did that look like? We can look at some of the data. But on the seller side, Anthony, are you getting those through Google Organic? They're doing a Google search and landing on your Carrot site. Is it paid ads? Is it kind of a mix of both?
I have a pay-per-click campaign on the investor site. And honestly, I've put a ton of work into my agent site. My investor site, that's basically all I did. I mean, I launched it. I did, probably the first couple week training that you guys have on it. And then I had your guy set me up with a pay-per-click campaign, and I haven't touched it since. And I mean, we still get leads from it. Cool.
I like it. I'm going to do a screen share. And Brady, if you have any questions, fire away while I'm prepping. If not,
do you want to dive more into the deal on what happened there?
Let's do it.
Yeah. So, what was the tricky part? You had kind of, teased us with it was tricky.
Well, the guy was trying to move to, the Midwest, and that was kind of the plan, that he was going to sell his house and take the 100-some thousand that he made and go buy something cash over there. And so he's kind of all over the place. I mean, even whenever we showed up for photos, he wasn't ready for photos, so there's a lot of rescheduling and that kind of thing that I go, where it's like, okay. Well, then we got to the repairs, and my seller is a contractor, or at least works for one, and, says that he's a contractor. Well, repairs come up, and it's an argument with the inspector. It's an argument with the appraiser. I mean, we had the inspector come out there several times, and where this becomes the burning money deal is the fact that I finally just said, that the inspector was tired of going out there. The contractor that gave us the bid was like, I don't know. I don't want to be like followed around by the seller and stuff, being told not to do it. And so I just talked with the seller, and I'm like, hey, we are very lucky to have this offer. I can't guarantee that we're going to get another one like it. They're willing to hang on. I'll go ahead and I'll pay for the contractor. I'm not a contractor, so I'm not arguing with you. I'm not saying that it's one way is right and one way isn't, but this is what the buyer wants. I'll pay for it. So I ended up paying $2,400 to have all of the repairs done so that we could get this thing to the finish line. And it was 3 months of all this back and forth before we actually closed. But she was excited. She was happy to get in there, and we were happy to get the deal closed. And ultimately we got the seller what he was looking for, and everybody was happy.
Dude.
That's something to learn from. I mean, that's something that you see on the investor side more often, is investors being really proactive with like, hey, we'll pay for your moving expenses. We'll pay for this, because investors, wholesalers are willing to do whatever it takes to get the property under contract. And so it's really cool to see that on the agent side as well. More of a holistic approach of like, hey, let's just get the deal done. Let us help you, because that's what we're here for, versus, well, hey, you should probably pay this. I love that ownership.
Yeah.
I got a question. Are you dealing with, maybe not, but are you dealing with anybody, it's such a seller's market right now. Are you dealing with people trying to get discounts on commissions? Like, hey, I could go with, flat rate listing service, would you take, half your commission or something like that? Deal with that at all?
Whenever you got, I could probably get your home sold within a week. And then they're like, well, if you're going to get sold in a week, then, it should be cheaper. But I have a whole presentation that I put them through before we even get to like the paperwork conversation. And so, they say, oh, we're hiring a professional photographer. We do Facebook ads. We have a videographer, on payroll. We're going to, by the time they get to the end of it, and I'm like, and that's and it's only a standard 6% commission, they're like, oh, and I get all these extra services. I've explained that I'm paying for everything. They don't have to worry about anything. And, it's only 6%. No, for the most part, I don't have those rebuttals.
Interesting. Do you think it's because you're kind of laying out and educating like the entire process beforehand, like saying here's everything, versus they might be thinking of, well, if I have to go with a listing service online, I'm going to have to choose my package and I don't know all the details. Do you have any thoughts on like why? Because I don't know. It's totally just my guesses or assumptions, but I feel like you'd have more of it in a market like this.
Yeah, well, you definitely have more of it in a market like this. But I think I haven't had as much of a problem with it, especially because a lot of these folks have already gone through our 50 Google reviews and our 100 Zillow reviews and can see our track record and everything that I've been really intentional about building over these last few years. But then even in the presentation, all the stuff that I mentioned, plus I'm like, and I got a team, I've had to grow, as I've continued to sell more homes and grow the business, I've had to bring people on so that I could still offer the same level of service. And so I kind of like have like a little thing that introduces like each position and explains, you could have one person trying to do, you could have an individual agent trying to do all the things that we're doing, or you can do them yourself for flat rate or what have you. But the service that you're going to get and the end result that you're going to get is not comparable to what you'll get working with a team of professionals that each have an individual position that they specialize in to make sure that your home gets sold. And so that
interesting,
dude. And this topic's so important, guys, for investors and agents, is especially in a competitive market. There's, man, it was probably 10 to 12 years ago. I was like massively deep in learning marketing. And I said, if I can learn how to market really, really well, then it doesn't matter what business I have. It doesn't matter if I lose my job, if my business doesn't work, if I can be an amazing marketer, you'll always have a paycheck, right? You'll always have a way to get money, to make an income, to add value to a business, to add value to people's lives. And when I talk to a lot of investors and agents, they look at marketing as this necessary evil in order for them to get money, so then they can have the freedom. And then people try to outsource their marketing. They try to outsource the marketing thinking. Now, you can outsource marketing tasks. You can and should do that. Just like Anthony did with getting the Google Ads account set up. He should understand marketing and how to think about positioning, how to think about guiding someone to build trust for him and his service, how to make his service clear so people can clearly see that he can solve their problem better than anyone else. But then the tactics of getting his message in front of people, then you can hire out, right? So I read this book. It's Scientific Advertising. If anyone wants to be like a massive geek on marketing, and some of the best marketing books ever written were written in the first 20 to 30 years of the 1900s. And so you look at people like Claude Hopkins and these old school marketing copywriters that wrote some of the best ads in the world at that time. The people today that are the best marketers literally go back and refer to their stuff as their kind of marketing Bibles. And in scientific advertising, might have been breakthrough advertising. I think it's
I think breakthrough. It's like the super thick one that's like really hard to find online. It's like $400 or something crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy expensive. So breakthrough advertising is very, very good.
I'll link it up.
Yeah, and in there he discusses a concept called it's like market maturity or something like this. And this is why this is important right now as an agent or an investor. Is at the front end of a market being created. And I'm just going to use an example for beer. Okay, just a good round example. When beer first came out as like a marketable product that people would go buy, all you had to do to market beer was literally have a sign that said beer. Like that was it. There weren't beer brands. There weren't anything like that. There was a saloon and it said beer, and then people would go in and buy your beer. Okay, so that's at the very early stages where people, it's brand new and there's not a bunch of competition happening. Okay, but now what happened next was people said, hey, I'm going to make some beer too and sell it, and mine's going to be a little bit better, a little bit different. So now as a bunch of competition starts to come in there, everyone can't just market beer. They can't just have just beer on the side of the thing. They now have to say, how do I stand out now? All right. So the market has now reached the next level of sophistication. And in that level of sophistication, you have to stand out and create differentiators. And the differentiator could be cold beer. Okay. It could be a different type of beer. This is a Pilsner. This is a lager. This is a, whatever. And so people started to create differentiators in their product. And then the market, went through that phase. And then now all of a sudden there's a million different options. There's a million different types of beer. And then the next thing is when the market gets really sophisticated and really crowded to where people are having a hard time differentiating their product, then you have to create what they call a unique mechanism. Okay. The unique mechanism, if we look at the beer market now, you can go down the beer aisle and there's hundreds of types of beer. Okay, one of the unique mechanisms, a unique mechanism is something that uniquely stands out, that seems different or marginally, better than the other offerings that help you stand out. So for beer, it's Coors taking and making the frost brewed cans. That's a unique mechanism. It's saying, I've got this beer, but my can's frost brewed. Or I've got my beer, but it shows the cold meter that when it gets above the Rockies and the Rockies are blue, it's cold. Or it's the box that is the cooler box. You can literally put ice in the box of beer. Or it became the whole microbrew industry. Okay, well, we're going to make beer, but now our beer is unique because it's microbrew and craft. You guys see where we're going here, okay? You always have to evolve to stand out. So in the real estate market, a lot of agents are still stuck in the first level of market sophistication, which is the equivalent of them hanging up the shingle that says beer. Okay, it's the equivalent of them hanging up their shingle that says, I'm an agent, I can help you buy or sell a house. Guys, that doesn't work anymore. Yeah, if you're still doing that and that's your primary marketing, you probably are going to be out of business or struggling. So that next level then is, I'm not just an agent, but I specialize in this area. I specialize in this part of town. Great. Okay, that's cool. That's like you coming out with Pilsner or the next thing. But we're actually in a further part of market sophistication where we have to stand out more. Not only is it, I'm an agent or I'm an investor and I can help you solve this problem. Cool. Every other one can as well. Why should I work with you? Well, I specialize in this type. I specialize in helping you sell foreclosure properties or inherited properties, or I help you buy and sell this, properties in these parts of town. Cool. That's awesome. But these other agents and investors do too. Why should I work with you? Then it goes that next level of doing things like Anthony did. Well, we're going to pay for your move. That's a unique mechanism. Well, we're going to pay for all of the closing costs as an investor and your move, and we're going to do X or whatever it is. So guys, look at what you have to do as an agent and investor. Look at your competition around you and say, how do I create a fundamentally different offering to them that so uniquely stands out that people aren't comparing you directly one-to-one against the other agents? Okay. Anthony has an amazing online marketing strategy. Name the method, name the strategy, show the value behind it. That could be his unique mechanism, and it's working very, very well for him. So ask yourselves, what's your unique mechanism to stand out in this market? If you're not sure, pop through some questions and we can engage with y'all.
I think some people overcomplicate this too, Trevor. It's like, you should be niching down, and there's lots of niches, like you said, like foreclosed homes. You can go into luxury, you can go into mobile. There's all these different niches and areas, horse properties, land, etc. Like sometimes people forget like to work with the people that they know. You
Yep.
know,
Yep.
I'm a creative. I like working with creatives. It's easier for me. It's more fun for me. You know, I think of this is one thing that like mechanics and contractors do well that real estate agents and investors could learn from. You know, on my way to work, I drive by Patriot Automotive, and I see this guy's Jeep. You guys know the Jeep I'm talking about. I see the Jeep all over town, and then he's got a sticker on the back. It's like 10% off for first responders and veterans. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. And he's got a giant American flag on the front of his shop. And I'm like, it's so obvious, you know, who he is, what he stands for, who he wants to work with. And it's like, all he did was like, well, I'm going to be a mechanic. He could have just put a sign outside that was like, you know, I fix import cars or something. But it's like, no, these are the people that I hang out with, and he's doing well. Yeah, it's really interesting.
I love it. I love it.
I was talking with Caitlin this morning about, you know, sometimes I feel like I'm not working as hard as I used to. I mean, I'm still doing the same thing, and maybe I'm working harder in other aspects. But, you know, I started thinking about it. I'm like, well, a listing appointment's a heck of a lot easier when you can say like, oh, I sold all these homes, and you know, you've seen all these videos already, and you've seen, you know, when you're intentional about the things that you guys teach, you know, building that credibility and, you know, also building this content library, things just get so much easier.
Dude, they get so much easier, man. I'm gonna do a quick screen share, kind of showing some examples of some of those things from Anthony on what he's done that make it easier. So let me share this really quick. And this is applicable, guys, to investors or agents. I'm gonna show some agent examples, but I popped into this tool, which, guys, there's gonna be some crazy cool SEO updates in our product coming out here soon. But this is a tool called Ahrefs, and we're gonna be baking in some of the functionality of a tool like this into our SEO tool here shortly. But I looked in here, and one of the things that Anthony's ranking on page 1 of Google for is Roseburg a good place to live? And he's got a bunch of other things. Roseburg Real Estate Company is number 4. You know, he's got some other ones on the investor side. But if I'm a person, and if as we go back up to looking at like market sophistication or what we call customer journey or buyer journey, the first thing that people do, guys, when they have a challenge or a problem or an opportunity is they do a really broad search. This is an example of someone who is aware of the problem they have. Hey, I don't like where I'm living, and I'm considering moving somewhere else to retire, but they don't know what their answer is yet. So they're in a phase called the aware phase. There's aware, there's consideration, and then there's decision. Aware is I'm aware I have a problem, but I don't know what I should do about it. Consideration is I've done some research and I see some of the options of what can solve my problem. And decision is now I'm going to really do what I need to do to figure out which route I'm going to go to make a decision. And so when someone starts up at the aware phase, you can create content like this. You know, Anthony looked in his area and he said, well, I'd really love to work with people who are looking to move here. And how can I get content in front of them and start to build that trust and credibility? So when they're ready to move to Roseburg in 6 months or a year or 2 years, I'm the place that they go. Now, you might be looking at it going, well, yeah, but these people are so far out. They're not going to move here for a year or two. Well, in a year or two, you're going to be pretty pumped that you did this because now you have a pipeline of people who are coming to you. And that's the thing with evergreen marketing is you're creating a pipeline of evergreen leads and traffic that, yes, it takes time. But once it builds up, you're going to be so glad looking back in a year to go, oh, I'm so glad I built that pipeline of people who are going to be ready in a year, a year ago. So they do this Google search. This is a magazine. He's ranked number 2 in Google. You've got some other big national sites, bestplaces.com, city data, city statistics that are ranking below him. You pop over here, and this is Anthony's Carrot site, and he's got a good blog post. Is Roseburg, Oregon a good place to retire? And then you essentially do what is the video post model, right? You take the video, get it into YouTube. Anthony posts these all into YouTube, and he's done a really good job. He has a great videographer that he works with on a monthly basis. They come down and record some awesome videos. That's a unique talent, and part of his unique mechanism actually is he's going to show with video and building trust and credibility how darn effective his company can be. So, yank some of the words out of there, reformat it up to make it look like an article. And now you're able to now build trust and credibility with Anthony because he's right there getting his content in front of you. You can see his face, and then you have suggestions on his other videos here. So you can start to dive into the Anthony Beckham rabbit hole, which is awesome. And now once I'm here, I can now be retargeted by Anthony on Facebook because now I'm in his ecosystem and I can start to build more and more trust and relationship. And I might go, well, shoot, like, is this Anthony guy for real? Click the client reviews tab, right? And then you're over here and you're seeing that, yeah, he's for real. He's got lots of reviews all over the place. And you can keep on scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. So that's the importance of building that, what we call the authority hub. When someone's here, we want to make sure that they're more apt to work with you. Okay, then I can go, well, who is Anthony? And like, are they legit? Yeah, he's got a team of people. It's not just him. He's going to help. If you're a solo person, highlight the fact that, you know, highlight that as an advantage for you. If you're just solo, you can say, as an example, because a lot of people will go, well, shoot, how am I going to compete with Anthony if he's got a whole team of people? Well, you do that by repositioning it. You actually use that thing that you see as a weakness as an advantage in your marketing. You say, hey, you know what? All the other agents out there, all the mega agents have a team, and you're not actually going to be able to work with that agent. Okay, you know what? You're going to work personally with me directly, one-on-one. And so that's an advantage. For Anthony on the other side of it, you go, hey, you know, a lot of those agents out there, they don't have a team to support you. And so they're working with 35 other agents as well, and they can't support you getting this house sold as fast with nearly the experience. We've got an entire team to focus on your transaction to get it sold insanely fast, make it easier for you. And so there's a lot of things you can do there. Okay, guys, so the same thing happens on the investor side, exact same model, because prospects are prospects. Everyone does the buyer journey the exact same way. They start out at very high level searches like foreclosures in Roseburg, Oregon. Okay, he's got a link here. I'm not going to click it because I'll probably cost you 25 bucks. But if I did, that's going to go to his Carrot investor site. Okay, where he's then able to get some leads there. Then you've got some national websites here. And then you go down here and Anthony's climbing that. That was created, you know, a couple of years ago. And he's got this ranking in Google along with an ad as well. Okay, and so you guys can see again a video. Here's some things you should learn. This is a video post. This is using the video post model, guys. So go in and use our video post feature where it takes your YouTube videos, you put it in there, and it yanks the words out of it, and then you can make an article out of it, very similar to this right here. You do 1 to 2 of those a month, or I would suggest 1 a week, guys. In a year, 18 months, you got that momentum built up. And if you're an agent, do an agent site like this, and then do an investor site like Anthony has to get those really highly motivated sellers. Really cool stuff. Okay.
I've even had sellers that they're like, oh, this is Anthony Beckham. Yeah, I watch your videos on YouTube, you know, but they were calling me to sell their property to me, you know, as an investment company. So it all comes full circle. We also get more past clients that reach out and stuff because we're staying in front of them. You know, all of it plays off of each other.
I love it. Dude, a couple questions market-wise for you, because people are probably curious. So we're in a small market, and we work with a lot of clients who are in smaller markets too. So Roseburg's, you know, sub 30,000 people in this town. The county as a whole is, you know, 100,000. I don't know, 150 or something like that. What challenges and what benefits do you see being in a small market? You know, as an agent investor. As it relates to your online marketing? Like, are there challenges where you're like, this is hard and this is a challenge, or are there any benefits that you see by being in a small market too?
Well, I mean, the benefit is that you should have less competition, and we've decided to do everything at a professional level just so the content, it's going to be hard for someone else to outdo. So if someone's like, oh, I should really do YouTube, you know, maybe they'll see mine and be like, man, Anthony's so far ahead. I don't know.
Yeah, seriously. I hear that.
I mean, that's why you got to get started now, you know, that's why you got to start on it right now. Now but in a small market, like I do have a couple of videos that have 7,000-8,000 views, which is great for a 25,000 population town, but it's really not a lot in the grand scheme of things. So I can't fully depend on YouTube as my number one lead source, where if you're, you know, in Phoenix, Arizona or something, you probably could, if you hit that right, and you could have 100,000 views on your videos, and you just get a lot more lead flow. So that's the benefit. There's more competition, but there's so much bigger payout on the other side. And I've done some like agent coaching kind of YouTube channels and stuff. And since those have such a wider reach, you can see like, yes, it's much harder to get those kind of videos to rank on YouTube. But once you do, since there's so many more people that are interested in that topic, there's only so many people that are interested in little Roseburg, Oregon, you know, so you only get so much search traffic. But when you hit it big. When you
and that's the thing. You can go really, really deep in a small pond, right? or you can get a small sliver in a big pond, and both are great. You just have to know the strategy to do so. In a small market, like Anthony's saying, it's a lot easier to swarm the market with really good quality content because fewer people are willing to do it in a big way. Well, cool. Brady, anything else you want to dive in and cover, man? I want to show our sponsor here in a second. And guys, while you're here, before I toss over to Brady, guys, if you're on YouTube, hit the darn subscribe button, guys. Hit the subscribe button. We had several hundred new subscribers every single month to the channel, and we're on a march towards 20,000 subscribers, where the more subscribers that we're able to add to this channel, the more value we can get out into the industry. So hit subscribe to get access to any of our videos when they first hit. If you're on Facebook, head over to our Facebook page and hit like and become a follower there, so we can get make sure to get you into our community here, guys. One other thing too on the YouTube side, when you subscribe, not only do you get first access to all of our content, but it also helps us to learn more about what works, what you guys want. So hit subscribe there. Love to see you over there. Brady, anything else to wrap this up before we dive into the sponsor in the tip?
Yeah. If there's anything we missed in here, let us know. If there's anything you're curious to learn about, let us know in the comments. Yeah. One more question before we wrap, Anthony, that I had for you is, any insight into the creative process behind this ad? And I asked that knowing that for some people, their creative process is like, yeah, I sat down with my video guy and we said this would be cool, and then we turned on the camera. But any insight into like how you guys came up with this idea or how you went about it?
I remember exactly how I came up with it. I think Dean Graziosi showed up in my Facebook feed with his book on fire.
Yep.
And I'm like, what is this guy doing? And I'm like, what if I burnt money? Like that would get some attention, like people are going to stick around to see what that's about. And, it worked. And
I like that.
And even if you have something that you do like that, like I had one where, David Beckham, a lot of people bring up the soccer player or whatever. I did this dorky little commercial where I kicked around a soccer ball. In real estate, like it doesn't, but then I go out to make minimums the next night and they're like, oh, I saw your video of you kicking around the soccer ball. You're the Beckham guy. Yes. So it all works, regardless of what you're putting out there. Just show your personality and whatnot, and it'll come back to you.
Pay attention to what catches your eye. Yeah. A lot of good marketers keep a swipe file. Yeah. You see something on social that you like. Yeah. Screenshot. I'm going to do that later. Oh, that's awesome.
Dude, Anthony, are you cool with in kind of wrapping the topic in this burning money deal? You cool if I show the landing page you drove people to?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, cool. So let me share this up, guys, just to kind of connect all the dots for y'all. So you guys saw the ad that Anthony put out, grabs attention, builds that trust in relationship. But then one thing that a lot of people don't know that you can do is you can hop into and look at anybody's ad library. And so I'm inside of Facebook here, found Anthony's page, and you scroll down here to this thing that says page transparency, click see all, and then it's going to take you to a page like this. And so this is kind of what Anthony is doing with his ads, right? So this is an actual specific house. So you can do these types of ads where it's specific houses, drive to landing pages on the Carrot system for specific houses. They work really, really good. You can see this one here is another specific house. So take a picture of it, good copy, drive to a landing page on the Carrot website, capture their lead. But let's go ahead and go down here, which is the type of ad or the ad that actually worked to get this buyer, and it really stood out. So think about this. How much have you paid your landlord in the last 12 months? How about in the last 5 years? I think it's time to put some of that money back in your pocket. Click the link below and we'll send you a free list of properties that you could buy for less than your rent payment. They click that. Then they go to this simple Carrot landing page. So this is built on the Carrot on the Carrot system. And when you're driving traffic from Facebook specifically, we found that a really crazy simple landing page is what's going to be likely most effective for Facebook traffic. Now, if you're driving traffic from Google ads, or if you're driving traffic, obviously from Google organic, this page, like if this is all your website is a landing page, it will not rank in Google. If this is what you're driving people to from a Google ad, it will not convert anywhere as near as well as what we call our mini sites here at Carrot that are our templates. But on Facebook, this is what works great because it works amazing on mobile. So if I were to shrink this down, that's basically what it looks like on a cell phone. It has everything you need right there within a quick tap because 80 to 90% of the traffic on Facebook is all from cell phones. So they opt into this. And then Anthony, is that a manual process after that for you guys to capture those leads and send the report, or is it something that is automated in the back end?
No, we get a notification of the new lead, and then from there we follow up with them. And
Cool.
if we get them on the phone, then we can ask more about what it is they're looking for and that sort of thing. If we don't get them, I still go ahead and set up a property search and send them what would be available in that broad range of what they told us their monthly payment is.
So what we're looking at, just if you're listening to the podcast for context, we've got a simple landing page, nice little background on it, picture Roseburg, and then the headline, where should we send your list of homes with payment less than your rent? And then you've got, what's that top field, Trevor? Is that the name, email?
How much is your monthly rent payment?
Oh, how much is your rent? Yeah. So how much is your rent? And then name and phone number. And then I love how you're fulfilling on that promise of like, try to get them on the phone personally if you can. If not, you're still going to send them that list. That's great.
Yep. I love it, guys. We're going to move this to a wrap. And our sponsor today, if you guys were around and heard the announcement, our sponsor today is Investor Fuse. So one thing that we really focus on massively here at Carrot, y'all, is we help you guys get the leads. We help you guys get the most motivated, highest close ratio, highest profit leads on the market. If you were to look at Zillow as the owner of retail buyer leads on the internet, the Carrot community is the owner of motivated house sellers on the internet. Okay. So we are the Zillow of motivated house sellers. And so what do you do with those leads, guys, when they come in? Well, we always suggest for people that when you're just getting started or don't have a lot of leads, I remember Brian Rockwell at one of our Carrot camps, the first Carrot camp he came to, and he had just had his first $600,000 profit year as a wholesaler. And people were asking like, dude, you did 600 grand in that year. What did you use for your CRM? And he like literally held up a notepad and then he said this in my whiteboard. Okay. So the reason I'm saying this, guys, is you don't have to have a CRM to get going. And I would actually even suggest people when you get going, you don't go get one. Focus on getting so many leads that you can't handle the leads in the follow-up and that you need something to organize it. Okay. If you're getting, let's say, 20 leads a month, you probably could use some organization in your system. Okay. If you're getting less than 20 leads a month, focus on getting 20 leads a month. Okay. But guys, if you're getting that 20 leads a month or you have a team or you want to put automated follow-up in place for those between email and text, or let's say you're wholesaling in 3 different markets or flipping in 3 different markets and you want your market in Atlanta to have a team in Atlanta where they only see Atlanta leads and Atlanta deals. You want your team in Biloxi to only see their Biloxi leads and deals. You can do all of that on Investor Fuse, and they're doing some massive improvements as we go. And one thing that we did announce, like we said last month, is Investor Fuse is now a part of the Carrot family. We had a chance to acquire this company, and we're going to find more and more ways to bake this company into adding value for our clients. But here's the cool caveat. Is we invested in and purchased this company for many reasons. Okay, we want to help more of our clients close more of the deals, but also it helps to give us a wider data set so we can track all the way from traffic to closed deal. So we can use this data set to help you guys and gals be able to generate more quality leads, close them faster, no matter what CRM that you're using. And you can still use almost any CRM and attach it to Carrot. We're not eliminating those integrations. We're actually going to strengthen integrations with other CRMs as well. So any CRM that you love, bring that over, attach it to Carrot, send those leads over to that CRM, like an REI Sift, like, Beast Mode or any of those other ones. But if you guys want an amazing CRM that is great follow-up, best for teams in the industry, check out Investor Fuse, grab a demo. You got to already be closing deals for this to make sense. And I would suggest you got to be getting at least 20 leads a month. Hit them up, guys, investorfuse.com.
Awesome. Thanks, Trevor. One thing I like to do on the behind the deal is a real quick segment called Tips That Actually Work. Keep it really simple for today. If you stayed on this episode, you saw Anthony's ad. You might not know that Anthony and I worked on something a while back together called the Video Marketing Playbook. So if you go to carrot.com/video and you want to get started on video, but you're like, I'm afraid to be on a camera. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, I don't have any ideas. Like, I can't burn money like Anthony. I don't have money burn. I can't help you there. But
it was fake.
It was like, okay. I was wondering, I'm like, that's a slick edit. Like, did he like camera moves and then get the lighter out of here, get for the money. That's good.
Yeah.
Go to carrot.com/video, and we've got 52 ideas, one for every week of the year, and then scripts, kind of outlines of what to say. So we literally, our goal was like to take away every single excuse you would have to not use video to get more leads. So go check it out. It's completely free.
Dude, I'll give a little kudos to that too. So Brady and Anthony and the team made that. I talked with Tyler Ford. He called me about a month ago, and he said, "Hey Trevor, I took that video marketing guide for agents a year ago, and I did it." He's like, "I just went all in executing it." He's done 6 figures this past year just from videos on the retail side, and he said it transformed the retail side of his business, following what Anthony is doing and Brady down in Tucson. Arizona. And now he called me up and he's like, "Dude, this is working so good on the retail side. What can I do on the investor side?" I'm like, "Dude, we have another video marketing guide for investors too. Did you know that?" I said, "I didn't know it." So we sent him the link to that, and he's just like going to school on it, and he's executing it over there, guys. So this isn't fluff stuff. This isn't just put videos out to put videos out. This is if you want to drive real business in an evergreen fashion, and it's the highest converting traffic across our stuff. Let me show you guys one last piece of data to prove why, if you guys ignore video, and I don't care if you think, we hear it all the time, "I've got a face for radio. I don't have time to do video." It's all these types of things. So number one, whatever face and voice that you have is the face and voice that you have. Like, be proud of it. Just get out there in front of people, because that's the face and the voice that is going to have to get in front of people eventually. So, and my guess is, not my guess, I know this, is people are more worried about themselves than they're worried about what your face looks like, or how tall you are, or how bald I am, or Anthony's amazing hair. I don't have that, right? So
I love when people say like, I don't like how I look on camera. I don't like the way I look on camera. Like, that's how you look all the time.
What you look like, man.
Exactly. So let me share this, because this is going to bring it home, guys. This is going to show you the data that proves why you need to be doing this. Okay. And so on the video side, using video post in our software to take your YouTube videos, turn them into written articles like the ones we showed here in a bit, to take your content marketing down from hours a week to under 20 minutes a week, using that feature. YouTube, if I were to click in here and look at our traffic. So over the past, this is 2 years. I want to shrink it. I'll keep it there. So over the past, around 2 years or so, this doesn't include phone call leads. So it's about 1 million leads that came in just through Carrot opt-in forms for our clients, mostly sellers, mostly organic search. Okay. And that doesn't include phone call leads. Add another 500,000 to 700,000 leads there. Now, if we go down to social, organic search is the number one traffic source as far as by lead volume. Now, if we go down here and look at this data, we go, okay, so Facebook, not a surprise, it's the number one by traffic volume lead source from social media. Over 5 million people clicked from one of our clients' Facebook ads or a Facebook link to go to a Carrot website in this period of time, and over 140,000 leads came from it. But look at this, guys. So Instagram was the number 2, which surprised me over the last 2 years, but this has changed. If we look at just the last 12 months, YouTube jumped over Instagram, and YouTube is now number 2, and Instagram is number 3. So YouTube is gaining steam. But look at this, guys. So Instagram got about the same amount of traffic, but look at this, guys. YouTube, I'm messing something up here. Shouldn't have clicked that. YouTube has converted far more people into leads. So right here, guys, YouTube has a 7% traffic to lead conversion ratio, meaning every piece of visitor that comes from a YouTube video converts 3.5 times as high as every visitor from Facebook into a lead. Every person from YouTube converts, 3.5, almost 4 times as high as any person that comes from Instagram. The number 2 is Instagram stories. So if you guys really want to use social well, double down on YouTube video, get those videos put on the video post in our Carrot feature set to get them now ranked on Google, and then post Instagram stories. That's your highest converting marketing method, guys. Go out and implement it. Use Carrot to make it easier.
Yeah. Some people will listen to this like, I don't know. I'm the type of person to think, oh, Anthony's already doing video in my market, or like there's already 2 people doing video in my market. Like, hear me out. It's still low hanging fruit.
Dude, we're early.
Oh, I just talked with Tyler Ford on the phone last week to see what he's doing with video. And he's like, nobody's doing it on the investor side. And he didn't mean in his market. He meant in general, like nobody's doing it. On the agent side, even in big cities, it's still low hanging fruit. And so if you're hearing this, it's not too late.
Yep. I love it. Well, dude, Anthony, appreciate you, man. Big time, dude. It's always fun following along. And if you ever head out to that new piece of property, hit me up, man. I'd like to go out there with you. It'd be fun.
For sure.
Is there enough room to like shoot out there? Put a shooting range up?
Yeah, there should be. We'll figure it out.
I'm looking for one. I was talking with Pete on our team and Sean the other day, and we're like, do we need to join the gun club? Because I don't have like a spot to go, to go shoot. And so let's set one up, man. I'll pay for it. We'll just set it up.
Well, there's a house out there and everything. I mean, like we're moving out there. So
oh, you guys are moving out there. Awesome, dude.
Well, we're not going to have any furniture for a little while. We're turning the primary into an Airbnb. We're going to give that a shot. I have a couple other investment properties that are still in the works out here on the west side of town, wine country. So if it works well here at our primary, then we'll do it with the other two instead of monthly rentals. So
that's awesome.
I'll keep you in the loop,
buddy. Appreciate you big time. We'll see you out here. Carrot Camp lunches, dinners here in about a month. Anthony's local, guys, so he's came to Carrot Camp. We like, dude, get down here, meet with our Carrot Campers. So we'll see you here in a bit. Brady, thank you for doing an amazing job as always. Braden behind the scenes, running the show, producing. Thank you, and everybody watching this. I want you guys to take action from this. Take one thing from this. It could be creating your first video. It could be creating a really simple ad like we showed you on here from Facebook to a Carrot landing page. It could literally be setting up your first Carrot landing page. And if you're not sure, hop into our tutorials, hop into our weekly coaching calls, or it could be, you know what, I'm going to take those YouTube videos that I've already got, those 3 to 8 minute videos. I'm going to put a couple into video posts this week and see if I can get them ranked. Take one action this week, come back in 2 weeks at the next Behind the Deal. We'll break down another deal with you guys, bring on another amazing guest, and help you guys succeed. Thank you all. Have an amazing rest of the week. Carrot.com/deal to subscribe to these moving forward, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
See ya.
See ya.